Hello, good evening, beautiful people. Thank you for joining us this time for this week's edition of Talkpoint. My name is Oba Adeoye. The station is Lagos Weekend Television. It's a West Saturday evening here in the city of Lagos, Southwest Nigeria. And of course, we like it that way. A very cold Saturday, warming up for a Sunday, beautiful Sunday. All right, this is Talkpoint, and this evening on the program, two issues on our radar. One of them is very, very big. It has been in the news for some days now, and for days to come, I can place a bet that it will still remain in the news. And the second one is the build-up to a major governorship election that will be coming up in southwestern part of the country. That state is known as the state of the fountain of knowledge, Ekiti State. Come next Saturday, millions of people, according to INEC, 630,000 voters out of the total 913,000 voters will go out to determine who takes the baton from Governor Ayodele Fayose as the next governor of Ekiti State on Saturday. Of course, a total of 35 political parties are running in that election, but as it appears, according to the bookmakers, only two parties seem to be at the forefront, and that's talking about the ruling All Progressives Congress, which is an opposition party in Ekiti State, and of course, the People's Democratic Party. While the APC will present Dr. Kayode Fayemi, who is seeking a return to the government house after losing out in the last election to Governor Ayodele Fayose. The PDP will be pushing forward Professor Gbola Oba as its flag bearer, in that election. What will happen? What are the permutations before that day? What should you watch out for? We'll lay all this to bear your front this evening for you to make informed decision about that governorship election. What about other parties? Do they stand a chance against two big monoliths? By the time my guests come to the studio, I will get to talk more about this very one. And the RAPC, that's Reformed APC. You remember many years ago, we woke up to the news of a block of the then ruling party PDP that called itself New PDP. It came to be known as nPDP, but this time around, we're talking about RAPC, Reformed All Progressives Congress. During the week, news came that the cracks that we have been talking about in the APC finally gave way to a faction to pull out of that party. They pulled themselves together, and they are known now as Reformed All Progressives Congress, RAPC. Can they stand an election? On which platform are they going to run the election? They are even claiming now that they are in the majority at the National Assembly, that they can determine what happens to this government. How factual is this claim? But the governor of Edo State, that's the former governor of Edo State, who is now the national chairman of the party, Comrade Adams Oshiomhole, has said, leave those ones. They are just mercenaries with self-serving interests. Now, who is right, who is wrong, what led to this break, and what will come out of this? Is the RAPC not just a paper tiger, as some people have put it? Can they really do something? Can they really affect the outcome of the 2019 election, just like the New PDP influenced the outcome of the 2015 election? Those are the issues on our table this evening. When my guests come, we shall be chewing at these two issues, and of course we'll give you an opportunity to also be part of us. Just tweet at us at Oba Adeoye 1 or at Lagos Television, and then we'll get to read your tweet about these two issues. Don't go anywhere. When we come back, we'll talk more about this one. But before then, let's take you through the nation in just 60 seconds. The nation in 60 seconds. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Thank you for joining us again on Talkpoint this evening. I told you before we went on that break that we'll be looking at two main issues this evening: the RAPC development and, of course, Ekiti State governorship election that is coming up next Saturday. All right, and I'm now being joined by my guest in-house. I like to call him a social engineer. You know, you can bring about change in the society, not the change that politicians talk about, but you can bring about change in the society not until you are elected into positions of authority, but even by, you know, making your own contribution in your own little way. He's an entrepreneur and a man who has got his hands in so many things. I'm talking about Mr. Gbola Oba. Good evening.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for the opportunity.
All right, Gbola Oba reports, news came during the week that, you know, over time, there have been reports that all is not well with the APC. And there have been denials along the line that there's no problem, everything is all right, that it is normal and natural for ruling party, a party as big as that, to have such issues. But the event of this past week has proven that indeed all was not well with the APC. We woke up to hear the Reformed or Progressives Congress. How did you receive the news? Were you expecting that too?
Not totally. It was not totally surprising for me.
Okay.
Because I come to think of it, for the last 3 years plus, the party has defined itself by internal frictions, lack of coherence, ultra-factionalization, and when the RAPC phenomenon came into being, it was just a natural sequence to a number of events within the party that went, even when they struggled to successfully put up their first national convention in 4 years. You must remember that they ought to be having national conventions, graduating from the wards to the local governments, to the states, to the national every year. But they had one. let's just say congratulations to them for struggling to make sure that it held, and it held relatively successfully. But the aftermath of the RAPC was not too much of a shocker to me.
Okay, you are not surprised at all?
I wasn't quite surprised. But I thought, but it happened at about the juncture when I thought they had successfully navigated past such a cleavage, because I was thinking it was going to happen before
the convention,
or as in the case of how the nPDP excised itself from the nPDP even during the convention. But they held their convention relatively successfully. Let's be very fair to them. And yet this rebel phalange of a sort came up.
Now, the firecrackers, the fireworks have started already with Buba Galadima, that's the chairman of the breakaway faction, saying that now that they are in control of the National Assembly, that they have the power to put anything into process, including the impeachment of Mr. President. Is that not too early for them to start bragging about?
It may be taken literally as a blagger. It may be taken literally as somebody who is flaunting what he can't easily do. But if you really look at the dynamics of the membership of the APC in the two chambers of the National Assembly, especially those who have defined their relevance by systematically and organically collaborating with the PDP caucus or caucuses in the two chambers, they may have something near the numbers, but they don't quite have the numbers.
Indeed.
It's not easy to get to third majority of the two chambers of the National Assembly. I tell people it's not easy. If it was easy, there have been a number of issues that the two chambers have been in disagreement with the presidency and the executive on, even in this riotous parliament. And yet they've not been able to look. The sequencing of the elections. They passed the bill, went to the president for his assent. For his assent, he refused to give his assent, came back to the house. What did they do? It's not easy to get to third majority in each of the two.
Perhaps what Buba Galadima is talking about is what I want to talk about next. That's the PDP connection. Before now, one would have expected that.
I've also factored that in. That's what I'm saying.
So okay. So even with the PDP connection, if the RAPC and the PDP come together, it will still be difficult for them to achieve this.
Because we don't quite know the quantum of RAPC's loyal members in the National Assembly, and to be honest with you, the machinery of the party is still with the authentic APC, and many of the parliamentarians will be seeking re-elections, and in wanting to get the nominations, the legitimate nomination for re-election, some of them may be dining with this thing in the afternoon and be
RAPC during the day and APC at night.
With the rebels at night. And it's not very easy to. So I can't totally say that it doesn't have the works to run on the cheap.
Okay.
But you know what? Talk is cheap.
So you are saying that the RAPC is just a paper tiger, as the case may be.
As at this juncture,
backing and not able to bite.
As at this juncture, their greatest relevance is the damage they've done to the pretensive posture of the APC that is one house. We've always known that the APC is not a united family. So the greatest damage they've done now is more PR damage than effectively contesting the authority of the steering machinery of the party. Let me give you a typical example. Okay. It's a splinter group. And like all splinter groups, they will get far more relevance. In the fact that, even with all the powers of an incumbent president and all the powers of, the party that is supposed to be growing astronomically, because as it is endemic in our polity, the ruling parties somewhat get easily populated by all comers seeking good fortune. You understand? But even at that, and more so because if you really look at it, the APC is relatively young. So if this is happening now, that is the mileage they have, the PR punch. But effectively, the control of the party is still residual in the leader of the party, that is the president, and the machinery that he has commandeered into being the leadership. Because you must remember that from the moment that it seemed that the president had given the nod for Shomole, everybody knew that it was going to be Shomole was going to emerge as the chairman of the party.
Now talking about Shomole, will I be right to deduct from what you have said so far that the national chairman, that's Adams Shomole, is justified by dismissing the RAPC as a no threat? Even went ahead to say the group is just a group of hired mercenaries for self-serving interests. Is that befitting of a national chairman?
Within the context of how we play politics in this part of the world, I wasn't quite surprised that he used words such as that. But having said that, I am one who believes, as at this juncture, that in so much as it will be foolhardy for him to believe that not much damage could be done, it will still be very discreet and very very strategic that he lives like some of us usually say about Gbola Tinubu. He could have any difference with you now, but there is a door that he usually leaves ajar at the backyard. Where errant and prodigal children could always find their way back into the house, into the yard, into the compound. So that's the joke. Sometimes we crack because people will, in the Obanikoros of this world,
yes,
even this kid as this, and before you know it now, you just see Oki doing, and I tend to tell people, my friends, when one is doing off camera analysis, that actually Gbola Tinubu always has this backyard door that he keeps ajar for
in case you are repentant, you can come back. The door is always opened.
So I wasn't quite surprised about 2.5-3 years ago, and somebody who visited Bodilon came and said, "Gbola, I saw Obanikoro," and people were saying, "Like, this guy is the master of, making sure that prodigal children who have gone away get away of them." So I want to use this opportunity to enjoin the national chairman of APC not to be too braggadocious in the way he uses his words, so that there may still be
a detour. The RAPC may still take a detour and come back home.
Because you never know when Caesar may want to cross the Rubicon.
All right, let's look at the composition of the RAPC. People who come together to form the RAPC. Buba Galadima used to be a very close associate to Mr. President in the days of the CPC, that's the Congress for Progressive Change. The Senate President, Senator Bukola Saraki, is a man of no mean stature when it comes to politics, particularly in Kwara and even outside Kwara.
You sure is a member of
the handwriting is on the wall already. Kazeem Afegbua, Kazeem Afegbua, very close to. I saw a list of the leadership of the RAPC, and I saw Kazeem Afegbua there.
I didn't see him at the press conference. I could only see Baraje.
Okay.
Who, if you want to use the bellwether, a phenomenon of political analysis, Baraje would swing or dance to the tune either visible or invisibly being played by Saraki. Okay.
So you can connect the dots now.
No,
okay, anyway.
Baraje will not swim too far away from the islet of Saraki.
So the question now is, let's look at their political weight individually. Do these people have anything to cause a stir in in the APC or for the APC in this election?
My fear is that it is not so much those that we can easily discern or easily identify as the rebels that may do the damage. It may just be a case of Brutus, that will do the damage to Caesar. Everybody in Rome knew that Brutus was an illegitimate son of Caesar. But you know what? When the hour of rebellion, on the very height of March, Brutus struck the most fatal this thing. So I'm sitting there now thinking, governors like the governor of Sokoto. Oh, did I say Sokoto? That flew out of my.
You wanted to see a governor in the north?
I
want like it.
Governors like even governors like the governor of Plateau, who seemingly has been playing along for this long with the presidency, been conciliatory and but for his own political survival. Benue is almost a goner. Taraba is not, there's a lady from Taraba who is in the cabinet who a couple of months ago was, showed her preference for the. So I am sitting there now thinking that there may be many brute. Let's use the Latin prayer. There may be many Brutuses or brute, shooting their swords and
waiting for the right time to strike. But where will all this take us at the end of the day? The 2019 election is a few months away, and the RAPC cannot claim to be a party. It's not registered by INEC, and the only thing that you can, or the only platform one can use in Nigeria to win elections is you must be a member of a political party. Where does this take us at the end of the day?
You seem to have conveniently forgotten that there are so many park and ride parties. 3 years ago, 2 years ago, how relevant was
ADC.
the SDP? Huh? How relevant was the ADC? How relevant was there are some park and ride parties, and those we have officially 69 political parties, and of the 69 political parties, we only have 2 that are organically relevant. So technically, you have about 66 to 67 park and ride parties, and these are convenient political platforms and machinery that the desperados and the political fortune seekers and the opportunistic politicos. I didn't say politicians, I said politicos. Tend to quickly.
Are you ruling out the possibility of them returning to the PDP? Because you're looking at the park and ride parties now. What about them going back to the PDP?
Dino has just made a song. Hip hop. Distinguished hip hop
senator.
Sorry,
hip hop senator.
He just gave us another. How did he sing it? The home sweet home. How can I forget my home? PDP. I'm waiting for. So I can't totally overrule. The possibility of majority of them going to the PDP. But you know what? Even in the PDP, because they are also smelling blood, some members of the PDP who did not leave when they left and benefited from the opportunistic this thing when they left, some members will not just give them a free ride when they come in, because in states like say Kogi, in states like Plateau, in states like Benue, where it is almost obvious that the APC may not win those states again because the people are utterly disgruntled and disillusioned. They voted APC in the last general elections, gubernatorial, presidential. In the case of Nasarawa, they voted APC gubernatorial, but actually voted PDP presidential. Okay. Many people didn't know that Nasarawa has never voted for President Muhammadu Buhari, never voted for him as a presidential candidate. So I'm looking at Kogi, Benue, Plateau,
Nasarawa,
Taraba, Nasarawa, states that inflected electorally positively to the APC during the last general elections in some respects, and about 4 or 5 out of the 5 or 6 inflected positively in the direction of the APC in the last presidential election. Many of those states will likely not, because people are disgruntled as a result of the killings, that they are experiencing across the swaths of those territory. And it is almost certain that some people in the PDP have been smelling the opportunistic return of their electoral mandate. So you can't just return now from APC, and because your name is Dino Melaye, all the loyal PDP members in your senatorial district, Ijumu, and this thing will just say,
welcome back.
Welcome back, singer. Sorry, Senator.
Senator Singer Dino Melaye. If you're just joining us, you're watching Talkpoint today, Saturday, July 7, 2018. And my guest has been Gbola Oba. We've been talking about the emergence of the RAPC. And we'll take a short break now. We'll take a look at what has been happening in Nigeria in just 60 seconds. And when we come back, we'll take a trip to Ekiti State. That's the home of Governor Ayodele Fayose. We call him Oshoko. Stay with us. We'll be right back. All right, thank you for staying with us. That's the nation in 60 seconds. And in the next 7 days, the people of Ekiti State will be trooping out again to elect a new governor that will take over from Governor Ayodele Fayose. According to the State Electoral Commission, a total of 630,000 voters out of the 913,334 registered voters will participate in that election. Although about 35 political parties are running in that election, but bookmakers have said that the election largely will be reduced to just 2 political parties. That's the APC and, of course, the PDP. Gbola Oba is here in the studio with me. Gbola Oba, Ekiti State next Saturday. Fayose is spitting fire. APC is warming up to take over from him. Where do you think the pendulum will swing?
I have a confession to make because I don't like to be deceiving my audience. I am a member of a forum that is in support of a media forum that is in support of Fayemi.
Dr. Kayode Fayemi.
Dr. Kayode Fayemi. When he was governor, I refused to go to his office. And Fayose too, who I can afford to say that I have a relationship with beyond just being an acquaintance. I refused to go to his office ever since he also became governor. But for reasons best known to me, or maybe because of the urbaneness, the relative intellectual, the intellectual solidity of Dr. Fayemi, I accepted. And he also reached out to me personally through a phone call. I accepted to be. But this is national service, this platform. And I hate to be. I cannot afford to call for anybody yet. And the reason why I cannot afford to call for anybody yet is because Fayose, very melodramatic, very corny, very wily, but is the politician to beat in Ekiti. You must remember that we are mentioning Fayose's name, not so much because his name is on the ballot, but we know that it is either Fayemi can defeat Fayose as a political phenomenon in Ekiti, or Fayose is an invincible force to the Fayemi factor in Ekiti. Now, one thing he has done that makes me to be a bit respectful of him and indeed fearful for Fayemi is that the highest electoral votes in Ekiti State come from the two highest electoral votes in Ekiti State come from Ikere and Ado. Fayose picked an Ikere man, his incumbent deputy, as
the flag bearer.
The flag bearer of PDP. I love Fayemi. I respect his intellectual persona. But you know what? The last time he was governor, he offended the Ikeres because before his mandate was legitimately returned to him, Oni, Dr. Segun Oni, had acted as governor, not acted that, functioned as governor.
Oh, yes.
I want to choose my words carefully. He elevated the famous College of Education, Ikere, to university status. When Fayemi got his mandate, Fayemi slapped it back
to College of Education
status. I counseled,
and that angered the people in that area.
Oh, a lot. And I counseled just recently, not too long ago, I counseled members of the forum that they would need to find a strategy of reaching the average Ikere voter, that Fayemi does not hate the Ikere people. He was just doing what any reasonable, sober, and matured politician ought to have done. That's number one. Number two is that he picked an Ado man as the deputy, as the
running mate for Professor Eleka.
For Eleka, Ado commands the second electoral
after Ikere.
After Ikere, the young man was once the mayor of Ado, the local government chairman yes. of Ado. Yes. They usually refer to themselves as the mayor of Ado. That's been the moniker with which they've this thing. And I'm sitting here thinking, you know what? Even as much as I don't, and it's not about Gbola Oba now, it's about being genuine with one's audience. Even as much as I don't want, anything about Fayose to still subsist in Ekiti
State,
it would be intellectually fraudulent of me to sit here and just discountenance his relevance, his strategy, and his tendency to steal
But from the way you sound, it's a pity we don't have much time to continue this discussion. But as we bring this to a close, from the way you sound as if Dr. Kade Fayemi stand no chance against.
No, it's not
because Ikere, Ado, they produce the highest number of votes, and then Ekiti is a very small state. If you are taking away Ikere and Ado, then what remains for Dr. Kade?
What remains is the fact that the melodrama of fire show in the last 4 years has been somewhat untoward to some Ekiti indigenes. The fact that he also fire show has not been any better than the Fayemi he defeated then, even when in the era of Fayemi, look, the example I give people is the example of Trump and Obama. There was sanity in governance when Obama was the president of America. But you know what? With all the insanity appertaining governance now in America, some will tell you, the economy is doing well. The highest rate of black the lowest rate of black unemployment in the history of the United States of America. The lowest rate of Latino unemployment in the history of America. The market may be yo-yoing, but you know what? And most entrepreneurs, most chieftains of industry think that they see him, liberalizing the laws and rules in the direction of their giddy. So, in Ekiti, fire share has been, rambunctious, it's been everywhere, it's been melodramatic, it's brought governance to a level in the Southwest where, in the Southwest, governance is still seen as a relatively serious issue. It's brought it to the street where, it could be the drama with Okada people today or whatever. But you know what? We don't know the percentage of people who may have concluded that, whatever drama this guy does again,
they're still going to continue with him.
And we don't know the amount of people who will say, whatever drama this guy does again, I am not voting for him. All
right, Gbola Oba, we have to go before my producer will storm the studio herself. I would have loved for us to look at the ADC, the SDP, Accord, and the rest of them. Do they stand any chance against this?
Essentially peripheral entities that should not be taken
and even beyond that, I would have loved to even ask you to help us understand how this election will be a litmus test for the APC ahead of 2019. But all of this time is a one or two.
Yes, it's going to be a very strategic litmus test if the APC loses Ekiti as a result of some factors that I don't want to mention now. It may just be the non-dignities of President Buhari's presidency.
All right, Gbola Oba, thank you very much for coming on the show.
Because he needs the Southwest, he's lost the electoral architecture that brought him into power, especially in the Middle Belt. If he does not get a sizable percentage of the votes in the Southwest, hasta la vista, baby.
All right, that's what. All right, thank you, Gbola Oba, for coming on.
It's Italian
for bye-bye. All right, Gbola Oba, I really appreciate you for coming on the show this evening, and thank you also the viewers for keeping the date with us and staying with us till this point of the program. Not much we can take this week on Talkpoint. The show returns next week with a very fresh edition of the show. Let this conversation continue on our social media platforms at Oba Adeoye 1, Figure 1 at Lagos Television. Whatever you tweet, I'll retweet for you. Then we can, discuss more about this issue. All right, I have to go at this point in time. Don't forget, join us next week and play your part in making Nigeria big again, or better again, great again. Bye for now.